The truth is, every indie artist and label struggles with a great album or single release, which is why they feel that their efforts won't be worth it until they find big investors or label partners. Your viewpoint is totally understandable, and I feel you, but if you want to put yourself in a position to have a great album release and push investors back for a better deal later on, tune in to today's episode of the Music Money Makeover Show. Now, the first thing I want you to understand is a 2% growth curve starts with these types of fans. Check it out. What if I told you that there are only 3 types of customers for any artist, period? Would that make your life easier as an artist? I'm pretty sure it would. Check this out. The truth is, there are only casual listeners, supporters, and fanatics. That's it. The problem is, artists only market to one person, and that's the casual listener. Therefore, they never get to see the returns they're looking for, even though casual listeners must be catered to. It doesn't stop there. It's best to serve the supporters and the fans simultaneously on release rather than later down the line. Doing it your way will stifle your growth. But if you serve both fans and supporters at the same time, then you've got a recipe for a successful career. I promise you that. So let's take a step back and look at the election cycle or what happens in elections. You got the people that sit around the TV or around the water cooler and talk about, oh man, Kamala did this and Trump did this, or, Clinton did this and Al Gore did this and whatever, and Obama did this, and I forgot who else was running against, Hillary did this or something like that, whatever. These people talk. These are casual listeners. They just, that's all they do is they run their mouths about a lot of stuff you got going on. Then there are people who put their money where their mouth is. They go and support the candidate, right? So they end up getting the t-shirt and the button and the poster, and they put it out in front of their lawns, and they put the bumper sticker on the car. That's the supporter. And you might say, well, Casey, that sounds a lot like a fan to me. Like they got the t-shirt and all of that. And well, I hear what you're saying. In many cases, if you see them wearing all that stuff and doing all this stuff, they may be a fan, but in many cases, those are just people at the support level, because the real fans show up to the rally and the conventions. That's where they are, with the shirt and the signs, and they holding it up. Trump 2024, Kamala Harris 2024. Those are the fans. And they got to do a radio show about it, and they got to do videos. Those are the fan people. And in everything in this world, there are always those 3 levels, right? When it comes to any business, right? You got the casual listener or the person that say, yo, I heard this cookie spot down the way was real good. Never bought nothing, right? But they just heard other people talking about it, so they want to be cool. And then you got the people that go in there and support them and they buy the cookies. And then you got the people who are so much a fan of the place that they go get the t-shirt that cookie company has on the wall, or the tote bag or whatever. The same thing happens with you. The problem is, as I said earlier, you're only supporting the casual listener, which is putting your music on Spotify, and a lot of you all just stop at that point. And I know I already hear the questions coming, but I want to keep digging in deeper before I get to your concerns already. All right, so let's go. Now, because you're meeting the needs of one fan, the question is, why is this happening? The truth about legendary artists like Prince and Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson is that they knew how to meet the needs of all 3 types of fans: musicians, general fanatics, and tastemakers. These are people who want to create like you did, they want to experience what you did, and they also want to leverage what you did to improve their lives. The problem is, you're only serving one type, and that's the fan who wants to experience what you did. You see what I'm saying? This leaves everyone else underserved in this matter. Serving all 3 in your public relations campaign is what it's all about. Underserving them cuts out all the fans, and they begin to rely on unofficial books and articles and documentaries for sources of information. So why not capture the market who wants to know this stuff and capitalize on it? And that doesn't mean that you got to tell everything about yourself. So let me speak about it. Back in the day, and you might say, well, we got artists now that are a lot more mysterious and they don't have to say anything about themselves. But when they got on, they did. So back in the day, let's go back to the late 80s, but early 90s and the mid 90s too, because I'm gonna go back to my childhood. You had magazines like Right On Magazine, Musicians Magazine, and Billboard Magazine. And I don't know if Right On is still around. But let me talk about what they address. Right On magazine addressed all the bubblegum pop stuff. What's your favorite color? Where are you from? Where'd you go to high school? What'd you do there? You know what I mean? What do you like to eat? Your favorite food? Your favorite place to vacation? All the dumb stuff, right? That just people that want general information about you. But then you got another group of fans that are musicians and artists and people who want to do what it is you do. And so they want to learn from you so they can take a little bit from you. And they're looking for that information. That information usually shows up in things like Musicians Magazine when it was hot, Mix Magazine, Sound on Sound Magazine, Electronic Musician, all these things back. And this is back in the day at that time. Now, you have, sources of information that are like blogs and podcasts or YouTubes where people will do interviews, and that way it's the same thing. And then lastly, you have Billboard magazine, which has not gone away, but their standpoint is to address the business aspect of everything. What's it like working with your record label? Who's your manager? Your attorney did this for you. You got this. Your finances was blah, 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 blee, blee, blee. People want to know, right? They want to know how you did what you did, who's the crew behind you, and what's your favorite color. Over and over and over and over again, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't change. It's the same. The problem is you're not serving none of these people. You're just putting out music, and you might occasionally show that this is a little bit about yourself, and then you just go back to just blasting music videos out here. Like the fan, look at me. The fan, look at me, right? The fan does not care about the music as much as you think they do. They care about you. They're trying to resonate with you. And if you can get them to do that and you give them the 3 standpoints that I'm talking about right now, I promise you, you got a recipe for success. On top of serving the 3 fan types with the experiences that they want. Now I'm going to tell you, cannibalizing the fan experiences of everyone is for savages. It's for savages, for people who really just don't care about their base at all. And I know you're not that savage. So let's talk about it. The number one mistake artists make when it comes to fans is offering everything to lower level fans, undervaluing yourselves and the fan experience. This cuts off revenue and diminishes your brand by removing that special place in fans' hearts that they want to reserve for you. Even though you might only want to sell music, name one artist who succeeded doing just that. Learn to separate fans with strategic pay gates, and you'll see your revenue increase overnight. The longer you savagely wait to implement this strategy, the longer it takes for your career to flourish, even if you have great music. Okay. Let me explain. Let's take a concert and let's create separation in what these fan experiences will be. We have general admission, we get into the concert, and then in that general admission, we separate the front row from the mezzanine section, and then you got the nosebleed seats. The nosebleed seats are the cheapest, and they gotta have binoculars to see, and that's why you gotta have the screens on the side, depending on, what your concert is hitting for, the tour budget. And the mezzanine section is a little bit more, and of course the floor seats in the front row is even more expensive. And then you have the group meet and greet where everybody gets in one room, and they're meeting you, the artist, at one time, and that group goes out and they pay one price. That's a little bit lower than the last tier, which is a personal meet and greet where it's like you with Chris Brown and the women taking all these photos one-on-one. They're getting all this crazy stuff with Chris. They paid a high ticket to do that. You see what I'm saying? So these people are paying $1,000 for a personal meet and greet, and the group meet and greet might be $100 or $200. But what you can't do is you can't cannibalize each experience. That person on that front row is trying to get a different experience than the person in the nosebleeds. They want to, they want to slap 5 with you, when you're on stage and you shaking everybody's hand. They want to get a picture with you. Oh, look at me, please, I want to take a picture. They want all of that. Same thing with the meet and greet. So you cannot cannibalize each level of this thing, where you give the personal meet and greet to the person who did not pay for the personal meet and greet. You see what I'm saying? Now, I hear that you're just starting and you're going to say you can't supply everybody with a product. I know your position. What you can't do is run from the work that will produce the money you want to see, from your music career. You can't run from that. Just because you have anxiety about the results doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Start small and offer products that you can service and afford to pay for. Then level up. After all, you learned your craft in baby steps, right? So the same thing happens here. You're going to begin to supply the fans with experiences in baby steps. That's just what it is. I'm unknown. Who wants to know this stuff about me anyway? Newsflash, everybody, all the people that are pressing follow right now wants to know this stuff about you. But you want to become known, right? So practice doing your public relations work early so that later you won't be unfamiliar with how the system actually works. in your favor. By the time it matters, you'll be seasoned. And believe me, there are plenty of people who want to know all aspects of you early on. In fact, enlightenment is the one thing that gets people to buy. And it is also the #1 bottleneck against all new musicians because they don't enlighten their fans enough. Well, I don't know all this computer stuff, man. How do I make a pay gate and all that? Okay. Pay gates are easy. You're just putting one product behind a paywall, and Stan stores and stuff like that makes this easy, along with many other quick e-commerce platforms out there. The goal is to get the money to reinvest, so eventually you can use other people's money to service your career. See what I'm saying? So here's what you can do about all of this. I want you to define the products you will offer to your fans. Then I want you to define the experience you will offer to them. So product and experience. Okay. And then I want you to decide on the payment solution that you will use. Simple enough. I'm asking you to decide. And if you need business structure to support the cash flow that I know you're about to get, then grab the 60-day record label course beneath this video, like almost 2,000 people have already done, and take advantage of the funding that we just put in there. Go get this money, because I got it in there. Taking action on this is going to get you paid. More people will begin to talk about you so you can increase your fan base. More product ideas will become available as you have the revelation that it's not hard. And then finally, more money will come in so you can improve the operations of your music business. This is what this is all about. It's totally fan funded. I believe this is what 2025 will be about, fan funding. But this is what's going to cost you if you stay stuck in streaming 2.0 and 1.0, excuse me. If you continue doing it your way or the old way, the weight of everything will continue to get heavier, breaking down your soul's desire for success bit by bit each day, ultimately leaving you with a real life choice to make. Should I stick with it or should I bounce? And I don't want you to bounce because it's simple. Like, get all that stuff out of your head, man. This is simple. Okay? So if you were struggling with developing a product for each fan type, and catering to their needs and keeping their experiences valid, you now have the means to become the new hot artist with a highly engaged fan base you've always wanted to be. And I always want you to be. That's why you keep coming to watch these videos. Music Money Makers, if you make music, you should always make money. Log on to musicmoneymakeover.com, jump into the 60-day record label course beneath this video. Go get that funding in there right now. Grab the free stuff. Oh, I forgot to mention, we launched a community, and I'm gonna really launch it January 2025. But guess what? If you're on my email list, you got an invite. Go ahead and take advantage of that invite because I'm not sending another email. So if it's lost in your emails, then you lost in the sauce, baby, because the price is going up. Music Money Makers, guess what? I'll see you next time. Peace.